Hello everyone and welcome to my free-to-play MOC 30-star full clear video. Making this video as a bit of a fun thing to do, showcase how I was able to get 30 stars as a free-to-play player, and maybe along the way offer some actual tips to help those that are still trying to get their own 30-star clear. So my name is TD, I'm a reformed gacha player, used to be a low spender to dolphin depending on what game I was playing. Nowadays, I am completely free to play, but still having a great time with the games I'm playing, especially Star Rail. So yeah, like I said, a bit of a showcase, maybe some tips along the way. I'll show you the teams that I used to get my first full 30-star clear, and also the individual units themselves, which you can use as a reference. May go over some nuances with my gearing and such as well. So you might gain some insights into how to progress your own account and getting your own 30-star clear. So we'll start off with team comps. I achieved my first full clear with a Kafka hypercarry team, and then a double sustain plus Bronya Zealot comp. So here are the units that I used. It was a solo sustain Bailu with Silverwolf and T-Wing supporting Kafka for first half, and then for second half I used well, this was specifically for MSC 10. I used the double sustain plus the Bronya Zealot comp. I did mix and match here and there with different units that I had built along the way, but those were mostly for fun. If I was really going for the win, these are the two teams I'm bringing out. So now that you know what team comps I used, I'll show the actual units and their stats so that you can maybe use them as a reference, and I'll go over certain decisions I made when gearing and upgrading them. Okay, so I'm going to start going into the character details and showcasing each unit individually and going over the thought process that I went through when upgrading them. Maybe that will offer some insight into how you might progress your account as well. So starting off with Bailu, I actually wanted to leave this character at a level 70 out of 80, but I quickly realized that I needed those extra stats for more healing, and also she would actually die herself sometimes, so I needed her to be more tanky, and then upgrade her relics to be more speedy, everything like that. But actually, her light cone I have not upgraded for a very long time. It's at 60 out of 60, probably stayed that way for like 2 months or so at this point. Traces are not even that highly leveled, and as you can see, a lot of her stats upgrade traces are still not even unlocked. Relics, I kind of upgraded quite a few of them to push for the MSC 10 clear, but there's nothing crazy here. That's quite decent, but yeah, a lot of these pieces are they're just okay. This one's actually quite good because it has a lot of speed, but yeah, nothing too crazy. I've seen, you know, Bylers with over 5k HP, and I'm pretty sure they're much faster than mine, but she does her job. And moving on to Silverwolf, my Silverwolf is actually quite underinvested. As you can see here, she's level 70 out of 80, Lycone is also 60 out of 60. Her traces aren't leveled up that highly, and her Ascension 3 trace isn't even unlocked yet. Relics, half upgraded, but all I need her to do is to stay alive and hit her debuffs. So I've just upgraded the pieces that allow her to do that. One thing to note is that for most of my supports, I actually give up a little bit of their damage and buffing capabilities and make them more tankier. This just allows me to have smoother runs, which amounts to easier and more consistent clears. If we go to T-Wing, this is a perfect example of what I mean when we look at the relics. These are stats on the right. I actually just recently upgraded her when I got my first 30-star clear. Her stats were about 2.8k HP, about 1.8k attack, 1000 defense, and mid 140 speed. Her Lycone stayed the same, 70 out of 70, Dance and Dance. Trace is not even that highly upgraded. I actually completed the 30-star without even unlocking this. This was just a recent upgrade that I did recently. Like I said, the relics were just upgraded, leveled recently. nothing. Actually, I would say she's upgraded pretty decently. So yeah, but like I said, defensive main stat on some of the pieces. So instead of using 2 attack percentage pieces to give her absolute min-max attack buff, I opt to use a defensive chest just to keep her alive. You give up a little bit of her buffing, but it's just way easier to get the clear. You don't need to absolutely min-max her buffs right now. The damage check is not that high, and just have her consistently not die as easily, it's just way better in my opinion. And then moving on to Kafka, I actually struggled in MSC quite a lot before I got Kafka. I used Savol, Welts, and Dan, rotating them depending on elements, and they just did not perform anywhere near as well as my Kafka. And she's not even built that well. You can see the stats on the right here. Lycone 70 out of 70, super imposition 2. I don't even get the full effect because stacking up to 3 times, but most of the times I'm only stacking 2 debuffs, or maybe even 1 sometimes. I knew I could get away with only maxing the ultimate on Kafka because of the way I built her. Most of the damage would be coming from the DOT that she applies with her ultimate. So I will upgrade these in time, but I knew I could cut some corners right now to just get the clear. Her relics, we'll go through them. Not anything too great. I think these 2 pieces are pretty good, but not like, you know, triple S or anything. But the rest of them are actually very mediocre. So even with these kind of relics, she still performs incredibly well. I will increase the attack hopefully in the near future. And moving on to Japard. My Japard cannot solo sustain right now. He needs more speed and quite a lot more defense, but I only got him recently, so he's not fully upgraded. His Lycone 60 out of 60, traces, like I said, only recently got him, so quite underleveled. His relics are all 15 max leveled, but the stat rolls on them weren't that great. So I will hopefully refarm them and especially try to farm for more speed and more defense. To alleviate the sustain duties of, you know, Japard on his own, I pair him with Natasha, and she is just, you know, Lycone 70 out of 70. Traces are not upgraded that highly. They actually get boosted by 2 levels because I have E6. But her relics, as you can see, they're just purple and not even max upgraded. The only one that's max upgraded is the energy regeneration rate. And then the E6 adds a little bit of bonus healing because it auto upgrades the traces a little bit. And then moving on to probably the MVP of my account is Bronya. Right now she is still 70 out of 80, so need more XP. But I do have her Lycone, and I do have her E1. Got lucky with the E1 and was able to buy her Lycone through the store when I rolled with Kafka and got enough of the store embers. Her traces aren't upgraded that highly, but her relics I think are quite decent, or at least some pieces are. There's quite a good amount of crit damage in there. And then this is a decent amount of speed on her energy regeneration rate. And then my most invested unit is Zila, 80 out of 80. The Lycone is also 80 out of 80. Super Imposition 5, the Herder Store Hunt Lycone. And then her traces are nearly maxed. The last 2 levels of Resurgence are too expensive for me to want to upgrade them right now. I'd rather spend the fuel farming other things, and then the basic attack is, you know, kind of whatever. Her relics are extremely good for the amount of fuel that I spent on them. I got quite lucky. This is probably the easiest piece to upgrade, but the other pieces are quite decent, so extremely lucky there. And then of course I bounced around with these other 3 units. I actually wanted originally to pair Savol with Kafka, but that combo proved not to be that great, and it was just better for me to run Kafka as the solo damage unit on her team. So that's a look into the individual stats of my characters and my thought process when it came to upgrading them. So now that you know about the team comps that I used to get my first 30 star clear and the thought behind the individual unit upgrades and such, I'll share a few tips about how to progress your own account if you're maybe having trouble or just kind of stuck in the same place and haven't really progressed for a while. And the first one, and probably the biggest one, is to find a good and reliable source of information. And for that, I have two go-to resources, which are one being Mr. Pocket, Mr. Pokey, and number two, Goba Certified. Those are my top two content creators when it comes to character builds, team comps, and general information like that. If you follow their guides, pretty much guaranteed a good time in Star Rail. And the second is to realize that this game is much more of a marathon than a sprint, and that's true of any gacha game. Pretty much all gacha games are time-gated by design, and unless you pay your way through the energy system by brute forcing the refreshers and brute forcing the relic RNG grind, there is no way to really fast track your progression in these types of games. And I know that there are jades to farm every fortnight if you can consistently clear the MOC, but at the end of the day, it's quite easy to at least get half. If you just level your characters all the way to like level 70 to level 80, you pretty much consistently get at least half, and then from there, getting 3/4 of all the rewards is not that much further down the line. And then at the end of the day, if you're getting at least that much, you're only missing 1 to 1.5 rolls worth of jades every fortnight. It does add up, but if you're just consistently playing, consistently upgrading your characters, you will get there. And so yeah, those are my tips for account progression pretty much. For me personally, still a lot more to look forward to in Star Rail. Although I have both 5-star preservation units, I'm actually going to roll on Fu Xuan's banner because I think it will strengthen my best unit. Right now, in the second half of the MOC, it's not always going to be like this, but right now, if I run up against a lineup where I don't have quantum weakness, Sealer actually loses quite a lot of damage, and I cannot mix and match the units that I have currently to kind of guarantee the quantum weakness from Silverwolf. But with Fu Xuan's banner coming up, there's a couple of ways that I can mix and match my units. If I get her, then I can boost up my Sealer, and that just improves my best unit, improving my account. And then from there, I'm just on cruise control for probably 6 months, unless they introduce some funky mechanics that counter it. And then, yeah, at that point, I'll just expand my roster. I am pretty much ahead of the curve in terms of, you know, the content being released and the power level of my account. So if I continue on this kind of trajectory, I should stay ahead of the game. And yeah, just get to experiment and play with whatever units that I want to at this point. So yeah, that's the future of my account and what I'm looking forward to in Star Rail. Thanks for watching the video. If you found it helpful, just leave a like, maybe subscribe. Probably make more videos in the future, just because I'm enjoying my time in Star Rail. So yeah, thanks again. Hope to catch you on another video. See ya.